Okay, now we're ready for citizen communication, and the first speaker is Paul Connett. Topic is fluoridation. And welcome, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors. Thanks for hearing from me. I've researched the issue of fluoridation for 14 years. It's been the most frustrating effort in my life to try to stop this practice, which I think is a huge betrayal of the public trust, both by the U.S. Public Health Services and Department of Health and Human Services, and all the cogs in the wheel down to the local health districts. There were two moments really recently where fluoridation should have stopped. One was when the Centre for Disease Control admitted that the major benefits of fluoride are topical. It works from the outside of the tooth, not from inside the body. At this point, adding fluoride to the water didn't make sense at all, because you expose every tissue in the body. If you want to apply it directly to the teeth, then use fluoridated toothpaste. Unfortunately, the CDC and other promoters did not take advantage of that situation. Also, if you apply it to the surface, you don't force it on people that don't want it. And you've already heard from many citizens in Austin that they do not want to be medicated in this way. This is the only time we've used the public water supply to deliver medicine for obvious reasons. Once you put it in the water, you can't control the dose, and you can't control who gets it, and there's no medical supervision, oversight. Also, to make matters worse, the chemicals used are not pharmaceutical grade. They're industrial waste products from the phosphate fertilizer industry. The second time when this practice should have ended is when the National Research Council produced this 507-page report with 1,100 references suggesting to the EPA that they lower the safe drinking water standard. After 4.5 years, the EPA has not done that, which indicates to you that politics is operating here. Now, we've taken all these arguments. 3 scientists, myself, James Beck, and Spedding Micklem, have written a whole book indicating that the science does not support the effectiveness of fluoridation, and there are very many health concerns. And basically, there is no adequate margin of safety between the levels which are causing harm, as documented in this National Research Council report, and the doses that people are likely to get. Nowhere near an adequate margin of safety. And one of those studies indicates from China that IQ in children had lowered at 1.9 parts per million. And this is one of my major concerns, that the level of fluoride in mother's milk is incredibly low, 0.004 parts per million, which means a bottle-fed child in Austin is getting 250 times more fluoride than nature intended. What is particularly serious about that is that at birth, the baby's blood-brain barrier is not fully formed, which means that fluoride can enter the brain. We've now got 100 animal studies which shows that fluoride can damage the brain. They acknowledge this, and we now have 23 studies which indicate that fluoride lowers IQ in children. What I hope that you can do is...
That was your time.
If I can finish the sentence, Mr. Mayor. What I would request from you is that you find somebody, either in the US government or in your health department, who can respond scientifically to this book.
Thank you. So the next speaker is Rob Love, also speaking on fluoride.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Love, and I'm a student at the LBJ School of Public Affairs, and I'm a member of the student group Social, Health, and Economic Policymakers. I would like you to consider an important question. Is Austin city water safe for our children? I think you and I agree that the welfare of the children of Austin is very important and something that deserves our attention. Austin Health and Human Services has done their best to protect infants in Austin from the dangers of water fluoridation. The Center for Disease Control and the American Dental Association have both issued warning to parents, telling them not to use fluoridated water for baby formula. 3 months ago, Austin Health and Human Services issued that same warning to parents of Austin, telling them not to use fluoridated water for infant formula. Councilmember Shade, recently you came to the LBJ school and you said that your dentist and doctor warned you not to use fluoridated water for your infant's formula. and I can only assume that, as a responsible parent, you took every step necessary to protect your child from fluoride, as I assume most parents in Austin would. The problem is, not every parent in Austin knows the dangers that water fluoridation poses to their children. More concerning is that fluoride might be harming the brains of our children. Dr. Connett mentioned that there are many animal studies that show that fluoride crosses the blood-brain barrier, and that the blood-brain barrier in babies is not fully formed. Infants are very vulnerable to toxins in their environment, and we should take every step necessary to protect the brains of these developing minds. And there are over 23 studies that show an association between ingestion of fluoride and lower IQ. I have two recommendations. First, please warn all Austin parents of the dangers of water fluoridation and the dangers it poses to infants. This can be done simply by putting a warning at the bottom of the water utility bill. Second, I think we all agree right now that we are unsure of what effects water fluoridation has on the brains and bodies of our children. I urge you to move forward with the Environmental Board's recommendation and investigate fluoride. This is a complicated and difficult issue, but the citizens of Austin need to know what effect fluoride is having on our children. Thank you. And I have those 23 studies about IQ
Next
listed here for you.
speaker is Heather Fazio. Same topic.
Hi, good afternoon. I have 2 points to make regarding the fluoridation of Austin's water supply. First and foremost, I don't want to have to ingest fluoridated water. I don't want to have to buy bottled water just in order to avoid this. I don't know what it's doing to my body. The European Court of Justice recently determined that fluoride is a medicine. I don't want to have to ingest medicine in order to give my body the water that it needs. I don't want my local food to be saturated with medicine. Can any of Austin's local food supply even be called organic if we're using the city of Austin's water? This concerns me. I know that none of y'all are experts on the topic, which is exactly why you have an environmental board to look into things like this. I know that a year ago they recommended to you that you should investigate the costs and benefits of water fluoridation. Why have y'all ignored that recommendation? This, at best, is incredibly irresponsible of the city of Austin. My second point is, as Rob mentioned, but I don't think it can be overemphasized, that this was the CDC and the ADA and the Austin Health and Human Services said that you should not give fluoridated water to your children. And this practice of fluoridating water supposedly is to help the poor because for their dental health. This means that the poor have to go out and buy bottled water to simply avoid poisoning their children. This is a disservice. And the city of Austin, and borderline negligent as far as I'm concerned, for the city of Austin not to be informing every single parent in the city of Austin of the dangers of fluoridating, giving fluoridated water to their kids. I would urge you to please take heed to the recommendation by the Environmental Board and reinvestigate the practice of fluoridating Austin's water. Thank you.
Yeah.